Hello everyone, Michael the Mechanical here. I'm actually cheating a little bit to make this video because I can't flip cameras while I'm making videos anymore, and it's been made much harder for me to do those sort of things. So that's okay, I'll figure out other ways around this and you'll see in a minute that solution. But I'm going to call this a channel review video because I wanted to make a video about how I go over looking at the channel and seeing if there's any real potential here, because there is a lot of potential in this channel. It's just I'm not very good at putting in everything. Like, I can see which sort of topics I should look into more because they are the things that carry the most weight. There are some things without weight, there are some things with weight, and it's those things that would help, make a kickstart for this to actually, help out to make actual projects happen. But yeah, it's a lot of work, and I have a lot of work on my hands at the moment with other things. So let's go and have a look at the channel and review everything over the time it's been alive. Now we're at 167 subscribers now, and we have around maybe 100 videos I think on the channel. I can't get a count because I don't know where the count is on this page, but it's worth having a look at. So we're going to look at the channel, and so this is what it looks like. And when we look at it, I can choose to change topics, but I want to look at it this way because then we can see over the course of its life what stuff has done well. And in the last 2 years, my first video was this one, or maybe not. One of my videos was this one, it got 16k views. Another video was this one, 19k. Combined, my first videos that I ever really made had the highest view counts on this channel, because 4D56 is a very popular motor, and the injector pumps are really difficult to rebuild, and people are interested in that stuff. I don't advise doing it yourself, but even though there's this part 1 90k views, over here we don't see many because this one was technically not successful anyway, so there was no real point in this. We keep going on, mechanic versus engineer, who has the superior trade? And technically speaking, I believe I was saying the engineer does, because the mechanic just essentially refurbishes things, where the engineer can make up the parts and, do everything correct on an engine and do things that the mechanic can't. But the mechanic is more proficient with building engines than an engineer, so while people could say the mechanic is superior or the engineer is superior, they both have their place in the world. It's just, the mechanic needs the engineer versus the engineer needing the mechanic in most circumstances. And we can see a lot of inconsistency with the view counts, and we can see it's low there, highs, and I would say anything around 100 is a really good view count. Anything under is pretty bad, but that's back in the old days. You'd expect by now that these videos from 2 years ago would have 100 views plus, because there's 167 subscribers. And then here we go, Triton MJ 1995 transfer case mounting bracket. That was giving me a lot of hard times when I was working on my car and I was driving it, and it was rough as guts, and bang, bang, bang the bolt. So I cut it and did some things to it to make it stop going bang. Obviously there was still some banging from somewhere else on the vehicle, and I didn't realize it until later. But that was just one of those points that I could hear the banging coming from, and that was all the time. And that's also because it was on the passenger side, whereas the other banging is on the driver's side. So we scroll up a little bit more, 42, 34, 64, 24, 177, because that was a really cool day to go to the Mighty Car Mods event and to prep the vehicle to go there. That was really, really awesome. We go up some more, 70 views, 144 views, and it's all related to the 4D56T. And it was on its last leg. That's legit. That was a real scenario. That was a real problem for me at the time. We keep looking up. Triton tensioner almost put me out of work. I have no idea what that even means. That just sounds wrong. another gear, and 4056 blocks back. So that's Dad's engine and the gear, which was a year ago. Then we have this one, which is the cam gear update. I believe that would have been really cool for people to actually see what it was, because as you can probably tell in this picture, this looks like an old gear and this looks like a new gear or something. But technically speaking, this one's just a machined Pajero gear to match the Triton gear, because you can do that kind of compatibility. And then we see 4056 Triton runs machined Pajero cam update, and that sounds pretty cool compared to this one, Triton cam 1995 cam gear update. There's no real information there that doesn't have any punch words or anything to really give you any real direction other than the 4056T. Here, there's a Triton runs well with machined Pajero cam update, because we used something that doesn't belong on the Triton, and it worked. And there's your picture to prove what's in there. Then, that's not really important to some people. Triton flasher bad. Check bad known wires. Obviously, we're looking at some bad wires. Let's see, what else is there that paid off? And I think, honestly, the Tata videos were doing pretty well, I would say, for the time that I've done them. Except they're not viable sort of videos to be trying to make, because this thing is a beastly expense. It costs a lot of money to fix that thing up or do something with it. And the biggest thing that could be done with this is putting another motor in it, and potentially even a gearbox, and then changing drive shafts, because those things are prone to failure or having issues. Then again, there is the snow at the rear or the front. The brakes are going to be hard to deal with. Let's see, up further, there's all these, videos where people doesn't really care about these. They're not very important. They're not exciting. I don't know. I wouldn't say that's exciting either. Let's see. Status of our Triton MJ 1995. So, if anyone was following the channel, I'd expect that mostly would have been followers or people interested in what they already knew about, and that's why it's got that view count. I don't think that's, exciting for anyone who's not really a follower of the channel. So anyone that knows the story about this Triton is probably going to be interested, so that's expected. No one seems very enthusiastic about the brakes. That's okay. Let's see, where's the next good videos? And then we're getting back to the Tata, and as you can see, the Tata videos have done actually pretty well. Look at those views that I get on Tata. And then here, okay, that's one failed Tata video. Shopping for parts. No one's interested in these part hunt videos, okay? So it's a little bit of interest, but not really significant, because they're live streams. They don't seem interested in the hard parts. So the hard yards, no one's really interested in, because that vehicle is very hard to get parts for. Why my Triton MJ 4056T is losing coolant, and it's still losing coolant, but we now know what the problem is, and I could probably fix it. Let's see. Rest in peace, Triton MJ 1995. If people wonder what is going on with this Triton, why is it resting in peace, people probably want to see something blow up or something fail completely, but this is still one of those vehicles which should still not be really on the road because of the engine damage that's in there. It's not going to fail in the short term, but in the long term it eventually will fail, or something will go wrong. It could even run away, but only on realistically 2 cylinders because of the damage that's in there. But I don't think that engine is likely to run away that easily. If it does, then that's going to be unfortunate, but I don't think it will too soon. I think there's plenty of life in it before it's going to run away or anything really severe is going to go on, but it just doesn't have the power that I need to go up hills, so that engine needs to be reconned in order to get that power back. It's not efficient for power. Let's see, next video that did well, trial and error piston. So people were interested in that and the crank assembly, because I don't know why people would be interested in this one, but the trial and error with piston might be because there's something that people might see. Oh, you made a mistake and you're learning, and yeah, it was a learning experience. I got the rings on the wrong way around. That was a problem, but also because the ring compressor didn't do its job properly. So we got a new ring compressor, and that's why I made this video. Looking good ring compressor tool, because I used a new one rather than the old one. But I was trying to put together all the time that's spent to do this stuff as well. So those I would say those were some okay videos. I still probably wouldn't call them the greatest, but I'd still, for what I can do, they're pretty good. Let's see, Tata Telcoline 1999 brakes, solid. Turbo Trouble Tata with expensive work. I'm actually surprised that one doesn't seem like it got much attention, but then again, if people know those vehicles, they know those turbos are terrible, and I think replacing that turbo completely is the ideal solution to keep getting that thing back on the road, because that turbo will cost about $1,200 to recon, and it's not even worth it because those things don't last. They're not that solid. They're very cheap turbos with a high price tag to repair. It's like speakers in a Toyota where they're crappy speakers, but they cost like $200, $300 to replace, and then we go up, and that's it. We've pretty much seen all the good and the bad, and here is that little mirror that I have here to help me to try and make this video, because it helps a little bit. Like, I can now tell where I'm at. So I know I've got crazy hair, dude. My hair keeps driving me nuts. I don't know what's going to happen next on this channel. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I have videos that I haven't even edited, which are on the side. I don't try to make clickbait. I try to actually, you know, put the facts in what's going on with what I do. So I don't have all the facts, and I sometimes make mistakes. But I've seen there are other really great YouTube channels out there with a lot of information that's very helpful. So I don't see a lack of information out there. However, one thing I could not find, and hopefully someone could say, hey, it does exist, it has happened, is a 4D56T that's actually run away. There isn't one. And we're not going to do that on purpose. If it ends up happening, it ends up happening, but I don't want to do that to my hardware. I really want to keep mine going as well as I can, because 4D56s are actually pretty reliable, surprisingly. They do have their issues. Not one car in the world is perfect, but it's a really good runner. And it's so solid that even with the damage, it can still keep going. And it's still pretty efficient on fuel. I reckon it could be a lot more efficient if it was reconditioned, but at this point in time, it's just out of reach. I've been dealing with all my finances, and that's been really, really difficult. I've paid off some debts. I've got my rego bill here that I'm going to have to pay soon. And I had to do a budget check to see whether or not that I had the available money that I could afford to do the rego right here, right now. And it turns out that I over budgeted for my bills. So I have a spare 1/3 of the money essentially that I put away. I have spare to go and put on the rego. The rego went from $252, $254 down to $230. So now I've brought my monthly expenses money, which I've had in the account for a little while, from about $350 down to about 130, something like that, or 120, because there's only 2 expenses left expected to come out of that account this month. Budgeting has been really difficult. I've now got a job, and I'm trying to save up some money, but the job does not have enough hours. It's just one of those things where I'm going to be looking for another job again, because it just doesn't give me enough work. But I've got to be honest, with this channel, it does present some opportunities which I never really considered. And that's the fact there's some really difficult tasks out there that I've done for others, and maybe I should do more of those type of things. But what's important for me right now is to not focus so much on this channel, but rather focus on my personal living circumstance, because there's no way that I'm going to be able to fix my Triton up without a good budget, and there is no way to just do it with what I've got here. This isn't going to give me any returns. But some of my work that I've been doing recently is almost ready to release. Once that releases, hopefully the turn-in return will be enough to get me out of some of the stressful situations I've been in financially, and hopefully it can get me somewhere in life where I can pretty much start working on these project vehicles and getting them out of the way. The Pajero NH&D, whatever one it is, NH, NL, ND, it's one of those three models, but it's not very clear what it is because it doesn't say it even on the body. That car is still coming along. It just needs, the brakes have been done on it. I think I've got some videos on that. I did a live stream, but it was on Facebook. Then I have the videos which I haven't uploaded. So yes, there is some content that I haven't worked with yet. I actually would rather get someone to edit the videos and make the videos, because that would be very helpful. But I heard for every minute of video you spend 1 hour editing that video. So if there is 20 minutes of videos, you're going to spend about 20 hours working on it. I don't believe that's entirely true, but it could be. But I'm also potentially, even though I can't afford it, looking into essentially going and buying my own place, because I need, more space and a bit more control over my environment. And this environment here has worked for a while, but it's time to start trying to move on and secure my future and everything. I know how good I am, so it doesn't matter whether I start off something small, because there's always the opportunity to upgrade to something bigger. Say for example, I buy a house one day or in the next couple of years. I know that it's going to take me 30 years to buy something that's in the $500,000 margin, and in the shorter term of maybe 5 years, I might be lucky to be able to take out a loan to help me pay off a new house. The only problem is, will it be livable, and all these other weird circumstances, because if it is or isn't, I know what I can do. I can always, renovate, and I can always go get the wardrobes and cut everything and do all the work. The only thing is, you need the tools, you need the equipment, you need the shop, you need the, you need to find ways to improve your lives and living circumstances. What I will do though, when I'm on my own and I have my own place, is I will be fitting 3-phase. To every place that I move into, there'll be 3-phase. There will be a shed that's large enough to handle most of the huge jobs that need to be done. There will be solar systems on the roofs, because I do not want to be behind on bills, and I always want to be gaining from what I've got. So, for example, I have a house, you've got to pay council rates. I don't want to have the bill of the council rates, and I want to try and avoid the bill of the electricity, the water, the gas and everything. I want to sort of run it at cost neutral. It's not going to be easy, but if I do it right, that will help a lot long term, and I shouldn't have all these ridiculous problems with trying to, pay all the bills, because I'm not going to be paying all the bills. And even having a nice garden will help to, grow food and plants and all sorts of things. That will be really useful in sustainably living, because it will make things easier. If you don't have something from the shops, you've got something growing in your yard, you can pick that and use that in your food. Only problem is, when you move in your own place, you have to get all these extra utensils that you already have in one place, and then you have to move into a new place, you don't have them. And also, it's kind of lonely to live on your own, I guess, but That's just the way things are. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. This has been a bit of a channel update on what we've reviewed about this channel. There is potential there, but it's about choosing which projects are worth the time, the effort, the money, and all that, and getting something done with that. And also, even though I'm a long way off from moving anywhere, one of the places I found is so close to a wrecking yard that it'd be so easy to just go there, get some parts, go home, do something. If nothing happens, then go back, get something else, and mess around like that. That'd be really kind of cool. But I'll have to wait for another day when it's actually time. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment down below if you have anything you'd like to talk about or have videos made about. If there's a complicated issue with a part or assemblies that you would like information on, feel free to let me know in the comments below, because that'd be good to revise and look over. Even looking for parts, let me know if you're looking for parts. I'll see what I can scrounge up on the internet and see if I can figure out how to find your parts for you. Take care, Michael Mechanical out.